So I just got up a little bit ago. Dad's been up for a little bit, but slept pretty good last night. It's a little noisy. I'm sure you guys can kind of hear the background noise. Well, I'll just hear that. It's a little noisy. It took a few minutes to get used to, but I was so tired yesterday. I just passed out. I think I went to bed I don't know what time I went to bed, but I was probably sleeping for like at least 8 hours. And I slept really hard. I slept good. It's a little noisy. Some people come in last night. It's not super soundproof, but that wasn't terrible. Nothing I'm not used to living in college apartments, but no, it was a good night's sleep. Slept super hard. Dad said he slept super hard, and it's about 6:15. They'll start serving breakfast at 7. So I'm gonna get up, kind of get around, watch the sunrise, make some coffee, and then watch the sun come up. Should be a good day. Day number 2 on the ferry. Today is Sunday. It's Easter, so happy Easter 2021 to everybody. And yeah, I'm gonna get up and head out on the deck.
Alright, so if you're looking to get some coffee before breakfast opens up, you have 2 options. One is you can purchase a Keurig coffee cup from the vending machine and use that, which sometimes they weren't always available. They weren't always in stock in the vending machine. Or what we did is we would use the Keurig machine for hot water, but we also brought some instant coffee packets that we were able to make our own coffee so that we had something to drink before breakfast opened up at 7 o'clock. So about the time breakfast rolled around, we were coming out of Queen Charlotte Strait off of the end of Vancouver Island and coming into Queen Charlotte Sound, and that's when we started to hit our first open water of the trip. We definitely had a few swells. The water was a little bit rougher. After breakfast that morning, once we were in that open water and the sound, we started seeing our first whales of the trip. Most people didn't get to see the whales that first day because it was still early enough in the morning that people were asleep. So we basically had the entire deck to ourselves to watch the whales. Wow. After a couple of hours in open water, we eventually got into more protected seas, and we were well on our way to Alaska. This part of the trip became very narrow, and it was much narrower of a passage than I expected to take on the ferry, but it was gorgeous, especially with the weather on this day. This was the narrowest point of our entire trip, or at least what we could see during the day. We continued on into these narrower passages, and it was just a beautiful part of the trip. We had giant mountainsides that just dropped right into the ocean. Beautiful trees, green. We passed these small towns and villages along the way. It's a super cool experience that I wasn't quite expecting. One of the cool things about being on the ferry was that we could get up and walk around. We had several decks that we could walk up and down on. We could be inside, we could be outside. There was seating in the front of the ferry, there was seating in the back of the ferry. So you could get a bunch of different views of the landscape that we were going through, and also get a little bit of exercise by walking around. And you could also find that there were different groups of people in different parts of the ferry, and you could socialize with different people depending on where you decided to walk to that day. There are a few board games available to use during the journey, and a few books, but be prepared to bring some of your own games or books that you might be interested in to keep occupied while on the ferry. And that was pretty much it for day 2 of the trip. We went to bed that night, and we would wake up the next morning and catch a Kennicott, Alaska.